Hi everyone, I'm Al, and we are back this week on Friday, or whatever day you're watching this, and we're talking about coming out. This week we're supposed to be talking about how we came out, what our coming out was like, and advice for how to come out. My coming out was not all that great. It definitely wasn't bad, but my mom is very clinical and very kind of distant emotionally. So the way I came around to coming out to her was one day at school. I was just having tons and tons of anxiety attacks about how I was perceived and how I looked and how I appeared. And I had hair. Back then my hair was about this long, like stomach length. And I told her I wanted to cut my hair. And she said, "Oh yeah, like what?" And I said, "There's this kid in my class. He has this kind of haircut, it's like an undercut, and then it's longer on top. He's in my government class, whatever." She's like, "Oh, so you want to cut your hair like a boy? Isn't it a bit too soon to be dressing like a dyke? Wouldn't you rather wait till college for that?" And I kind of looked at her, and I'm like, "That's not really the point, Mom. I don't want to look like a dyke. I want to look like a boy." And she said, well, she kind of ignored that. And then I kind of went on and said, it makes me feel bad when you insinuate that I just want to look like a butch lesbian, because I don't want to look like a butch lesbian. I want to look like how I feel I should look." And at that point, she kind of figured it out. She was like, And so I kind of went on and told her that I didn't feel like a girl, that I didn't really come out to her as non-binary. I came out to her as a binary trans person. I came out to her as a trans male, because at that point in my life, I felt it was simpler to come out as something that was more normal or more understood. So I came out and I told her that I felt like a boy and that I would rather be one. She's like, "Okay." And she kind of sits me down and she's like, "Okay, well, I don't want you to fit yourself into a box, so just stay exactly how you are." And that was pretty much the end of the conversation. So it's been a couple months. I probably came out to her about 4 or 5 months ago, 6 months ago maybe, and her opinion hasn't really changed. I brought it up a couple more times, and the only positive comment she's really made is that she would prefer for me to live somewhere like San Francisco or Oregon or something that wasn't like where we live now. We live in a very conservative town. She knows that I'm queer and I'm trans, and as my mom, she loves me very much, and although she might not be all that supportive, she's definitely wants what's best for me. And she's made that clear, that even though she doesn't quite understand how I feel about my gender, that she will love me, and that if I do choose to pursue hormone replacement therapy or surgery, that she will support me. And that's really all I could have hoped for. My advice for anybody thinking about coming out would be to start slow. I came out first to a couple of close friends. Nobody really thought it was surprising. I've never really tried to hide it. I've been openly out as trans since I was in 8th grade, so that's been about 5 years. But I was never really the one to walk up to you and tell you I was trans. If you asked me, I would tell you. If I never really referred to myself as a girl, I kind of use an even mixture of girl and guy terms. So I'd start out somewhere like that. If you're uncomfortable with coming out on a full scale, I'd say start slow. Start referring to yourself as a prince or a princess or a queen instead of something that would be normally like your gender. Refer to yourself kind of using opposite terms, and if that plays out well, then maybe work your way up to coming out full scale. If a chance presents itself, like if your family happens to be talking about it and they seem supportive of it, then go for it. But definitely do not come out if you're not ready, because this is a very, very important thing. And if you're not ready for it, then you shouldn't have to be. This is nothing anybody needs to know. This is something that you do to make yourself feel comfortable. If you are wanting to present yourself, if you're wanting to transition, if you want to change how people look at you, then come out. But if you're fine where you are, don't even bother. It's nothing that most people really need to know. Alright, thanks guys. I know this video has been kind of long, but I hope you forgive me. As always, make sure to check out our links and stuff in the description. Be sure to volunteer if you can. Check out our social media. I'm sure the links will be down there as well. And I'll see you all again next week. Thank you. Today we're talking about gender-neutral pronouns. The way I take gender-neutral pronouns is it's basically anything you use to refer to a person other than he or she. Really common gender-neutral pronouns in English are they, or it, or one. A lot of people get offended if you call them an it, but I definitely do know people who use that.